Hey, what is going on, Butte County real estate investors? This is Brent here in the Sheridan Studios, and I want to give you guys an update on how CHICO State going online is going to affect the off-campus student housing market. So if you're an investor and you own college rentals, or if you're trying to get into real estate and you live in Butte County, obviously CHICO State saying they're going to go online primarily with some lab classes is going to affect you. I just want to kind of share the latest news as things come out, okay? So a couple weeks ago I did a video and I shared, it was the day after they came out and said all CSUs are going online. And so now there's been a little more information, a little more news that's come out since then. So there's a couple articles, and I'll put them in the comments below. And these are mainly interviews with Timothy P. White. And Timothy P. White is the chancellor of all the CSUs. This is the guy in charge of saying what happens with these campuses. Now these campuses employ something like 50,000 people in California, and they teach something like 480,000 students. So this guy, Timothy P. White, the decision that he makes obviously has a ripple effect over billions of dollars in real estate across California. And so he's being interviewed, and these are important because he's coming out later and later. There's an interview in CNBC and also the San Jose Mercury News, and they're interviewing him. And this is what he said here, right? Here's a quote from him. "We may open up more than we think now." And I thought this was an over-exaggeration. He's saying the same thing. Here's a direct quote right here. This is from CNBC. It says, "By the time we get to August, it may be very well the case that we're able to open more than we think we are now," White said. "We're preparing for virtual with hope of being able to pull back once we get into August and September a bit." Okay, so he's saying, hey, once we get to August and September, we may be opening up more and more classrooms, right? That's a possibility. So it's not this hard and fast, we're going online. He's walking that back a little bit. Here's another quote from him. He says, "I hope I'm wrong. I hope when we get to fall, we could do more in person than we're anticipating right now. But I want to be prepared. I don't want fall courses that may start in person have to be pulled back." So you say, hey, this is a preliminary thing. We may be able to do this, but we're being safe rather than sorry. So this could get pulled back. Here's another thing. Dorms, this is almost certain. Dorms typically had 2 or 3 people. So if you went to CHICO State University, you're like crammed in this little cracker box dorm room, and there was 2 beds in there, 2 twin-sized beds. So they're saying they're going to do 1 person per bedroom. Additionally, the person at CHICO State who oversees that, there's communal bathrooms. And they're not sure how they're going to do the communal bathrooms. So the dorms may close altogether. So CHICO State going fully online or partially online or whatever they're going to do. But it's almost certain that the dorms are at least going to get cut in half and may close altogether. What that's going to do is going to increase the demand for off-campus housing. So this is us. This is the real estate investors, right? So this could increase the demand for off-campus housing. Obviously, there's a lot of dorm rooms. There's a lot of kids who are in those dorms. And if they're going to be renting bedrooms in the private sector, that's going to be a benefit to you. Okay, so here's another thing. This is another thing that came out in the interview from Timothy P. White. They asked him, will all 23 campuses be closed? This is a criticism I had. Hey, San Diego State, Long Beach State, San Francisco State is different than Humboldt State and CHICO State. We're rural communities. I think in all of our county, Butte County, I think we have 23 or maybe 25 cases in the whole county, and no one's died, and we're doing really, really well. We're very different from San Diego, right? So my criticism was, why this blanket we're going to close them all? And this is what he's saying now, because at first it was we're closing all of them. Now he's saying there will be a variability. He says Arcadia in the north, where Humboldt State is located, and where there has not been as much of the disease, is quite different than Cal State Los Angeles or San Diego State, where the disease is much higher frequency. And the guy asked him directly, will there be uniformity in the not the closure, but the going online of all the schools? And here's what he said: no, it's not uniform. This isn't a uniform online, except for labs, of all CSUs. There's going to be variability. So what that means is CHICO State University, where we're located, we're set up to be more of an open campus, say more than the other ones in Los Angeles and San Diego and that kind of thing. So that's actually pretty good news. And here's another thing that I just want to make aware if you have, and I went back and I said this at the beginning with COVID-19, it's going to come down to operations. Who can operate their property? There will be winners and there will be losers as Chico State goes online. There will be a decrease in enrollment. I think that's going to happen. I mean, who knows? But it's those who can operate their property, market their property, lease those properties are going to come out the winners. So what we've already seen is there's a lot of student housing property managers who are experts, who are already fully leased for next year. They already have leases. So I manage 44 units myself. I just have one property, and we're fully leased. We have 1 year to 16-month leases, and they're already signed. So we have had a few people who say, hey, can I get out of my lease? Students who are saying, I'm not coming back. All my classes are online. Can I get out of my lease? And we're saying, you know what? You can if you find someone to fill your lease, but that's up to you. That's your responsibility. Okay? But for those college properties that are vacant right now we're in May, if you have vacancy, these vacancies are going to be tough to fill, especially if you're a mom and pop, especially if you're a self-managed person who's not really savvy. You're not advertising on apartments.com. You're not advertising on Zillow. You're not advertising on different places like that. You're not picking up the phone right away, right? You're not professionally managed it, and you have vacancies. Those things are going to be tough to fill right now. Trust me. So I want to get into here's how it affects us. Here's opportunities and threats with Chico State, saying they're going online. Okay. The opportunities are going to be with those mom and pops. The guy who's 75 years old. Nothing wrong with being 75, but you're self-managing, and for the longest time, you just put an ad on Craigslist, you filled it at a low market price, and that was the end of it. You may see some mismanaged or poorly managed units, people freaking out and bailing out and listing, okay? And you may see quite a bit of that. You may see people, their kids went to Chico State University, they don't really want to hang on, they're afraid of the economy moving forward in the future. I got a phone call there. We've already seen people start to increase in listing their college properties. They don't want to go through the rigmarole. They're thinking about selling anyways. So we may see the mismanaged units or the self-managed kind of start to bail out. If there's an increase in supply and college rentals hitting the market, that's going to decrease the price. It just will. There's only so many investors out there who want to invest right now in Chico. But a decrease in price, there could be opportunities there, especially with things like expired listings and stuff like that. You see, college rentals, and we're talking about in the fall, they've been on there 120 days and they have no offers and they expire their listing. You call them up and they have a vacant rental. There could be the opportunity to just say, hey, I'll give you this cash offer, whatever, you want to take it. There may be opportunities to, if you could manage it well and fill those, to pick up some college rentals inexpensively, okay? And this is especially going to be true with long-term patient money. So if you could weather a little 6 months or so, there may be an opportunity there for you to pick up some college rentals, possibly. Okay, now here are the threats. You got to know the threats. Lending is going to be tough. I said this in the beginning. I said this months ago. Especially if you're self-employed or, these are college rentals, the banks may say, hey, you know what, forget you. We don't want to touch college rentals. So you may have a hard time getting a loan, and that may really affect you, okay? A decrease in enrollment long-term, okay? Now, here's another quote from Timothy P. White, our friend, the Chancellor of CSU. He says this when they asked about enrollment. This is what he said. Now, who knows? He said, his quote, I don't see any evidence of enrollment loss as we speak today. Matter of fact, he said we see a little bit of an increase in enrollment. I don't know. They usually come out with their enrollment numbers May 1st. They push that back to June 1st, okay? And I think they did that. I don't know. I'm assuming here. Maybe because I thought they may be a little low here with the coronavirus. I don't know. But he's saying, this is his quote, we're not lower on enrollment. But the threat is they are lower on enrollment. The threat is there's a long-term enrollment decrease as online teaching. There could be a trend here with online work, but also with going to college online, that kind of thing. However, there's such a pull for that college experience, and there really is. Part of going to college is becoming, a man or a woman, or becoming an independent adult, getting out of your parents' house. I still think there's going to be a strong draw, for that that's going to continue with this college experience. Also, another threat is long-term economic crash, right? So unemployment, there's 30 million or something on unemployment right now. It's like depression rate unemployment. So there could be a long-term economic fallout that happens that affects things for a very long time. We could see a deflationary kind of issue followed by maybe some kind of inflationary thing. Those kind of massive economic issues of printing trillions of dollars and seeing what happens, I don't know how that works. It's too complicated for me. I can't foresee the future of if we're going to have the V-shaped recovery or if it's going to be more long-term. It's hard for me to say. But that is a threat, and that's something to consider. There could be a long-term economic issue. You tie up your liquid assets in real estate, hey, and it could be sliding on a downward trend. We don't know. But there's definitely opportunities. There's threats. This is the world of investing, high risk, high return. That's just how the world works. But I definitely want you to make good decisions, and good decisions come from good information. So I wanted to come out. I did a video when they said, "Hey, we're shutting down all the CSUs." I want to come out. Here's what they're saying now. It's a little softer. Here's some information about the dorms closing that could help. Off-campus student housing. CHICO State, it's not blanket, and CHICO State is positioned to have probably more of an influx, more of an open experience. We also still relatively to California have pretty cheap rents still, so we could see a draw there. And just to know, vacancy, if you have vacant rentals, it's going to be tough right now, but that's where the opportunity could come to pick those up and get those rented. So that's it. Those are my thoughts. I want to give an update, keep you informed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much.